Yo, what up, YouTube? It's your boy Zai. You already know what time it is. But anyway, before I even get into what I want to talk about, which you can tell by the byline, it's going to be something serious. And hopefully, I don't offend too many people with what exactly I'm going to say. But, you know, it's just one of those conversations I feel like people need to have, because it's one of those things where things are continuously happening and nobody's really addressing it. You know what I mean? But that's besides the fact. Before I even get into that, man, I want to send a shout out to Nate Dogg 916. You know, dude's always supporting the channel. He purchased my music, really put it out there on his platform for other people to hear. Groove Shack Radio is another one. Last night I did an interview with him, and he really, you know, he really pushed my music. You know what I mean? And also seen the fact that, you know, regardless of the age, it's a vision that I'm trying to. You know, he sees the vision. Shout out to K2K for dropping his verse. Me and him got something coming. Shout out to One Way Purple Demon. We got a few things coming, and you know, so man, shout out to the people that's really supporting the channel. And I can go on and on for the people in New Jersey, the people in New York. You know, OG Steve, another a Keyway out of New York, that's supporting the channel. You know, shout out to you. But and to Grimy TV, you already know, and Grimy Boys. So there's a lot of other people I can mention, but I need to get into the video. Now, you know, the last time I spoke on this whole thing with the Iloteros, it was one of those things that, you know, I had to play devil's advocate. And also point out the fact that people were blaming absolutely everything that goes on with this particular group of workers on all blacks. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, when it all came out in the mix, both incidents had nothing to do with blacks. Now, this incident that just took place in Fresno was they said was perpetrated by a black individual. So there's nothing I can really say on that. But people were upset at the last video when I spoke on Fresno because it didn't go according to the way they felt it should go. I'm one of those, I don't play both sides. I don't straddle the line. I'm just one of those that I go off logic and my way of thinking. So if you're blaming it on black individuals, but none of those individuals are black, then you look like the idiot and the fool for doing it, because you were trying to compare it to what was going on in Los Angeles. For the people that don't understand what was going on in Los Angeles, there was people that were not only jacking Iloteros, they were you know, humiliating them on camera in order for whatever social media clout they were trying to chase, and was looking like real dumbos. But at the end of the day, one of their people did step up, and no, not even just one, you know, not to, you know, Jab 5, he stepped up and put hands on people, you know what I mean? And that, on that edge, just stopped. Then you had some other key ways that they did the same thing, you know what I mean? And those incidents stopped. It never got to the point to where somebody actually got killed, but it was handled. After a little pressure, people actually handled their business. So I had to, you know, I had to give them their respect on that. So there's no need to talk about it. Another incident that took place in downtown Los Angeles was a prime example of exactly what would happen if a homie gets caught doing it. And what happened was he got this beat out of him, because the homies don't get down like there's no games when it comes to anybody that knows about, you know, when you're dealing with him in Southern California. If you get caught doing it, your end is gonna beat you within an inch of your life. And you might, if there's no cameras, you might end up, you know, with this gone, because that's not accepted. It's not gonna be tolerated, and it's not necessarily just homies. You know, you got regular hint out there that's into the same line of work that will pop your sesos, you know what I mean? Because it's just not tolerated. Now, what the whole reason I chose to speak on this video, because of what happened in Fresno this last couple of weeks. It's not, I don't say unfortunate, because I think that's taking the situation lightly. It's not unfortunate. It's a tragedy, because another person was snuffed out due to somebody else's stupidity or lack of whatever they have. You had to be a coward to walk up on somebody and kill them over what, you know what I mean? But that's besides the point, man. What I really want to get into is the fact that, you know, people on social media and they're bringing the big homies up and all this. They have nothing to do with that. That's Fresno. That's a no man's land. Straight out. Anybody that knows anything about Fresno, it's always been Fresno Bulldogs. And don't get me wrong, there's homies out there. They were out there when I was living out there. But primarily they're Fresno Bulldogs. So, you know, whatever goes on in that city is pretty much on them to handle. And it's not to say that they can't handle their wax. It's just, it's one of those things that when you're dealing with individuals that are broke or just feel like they need to gain some sort of stripe, it's unpredictability. It's always been that in the ghetto. And I think the whole reason why people continue to do things in that city on this level of stupidity and just blatant disrespect for somebody's life is because there's no real check for it. Now out here, if a elotero would have got killed by another race, and it's not to advocate violence, somebody would have got knocked down for it. Plain and simple. Somebody would have got knocked down for it. They would have got and probably would have started a whole mess of you know, drama, but it wouldn't have been tolerated, and it will never be tolerated. And I think you know, that city need to take, you know, they need to really sit back and see what's taking place in other cities, and the fact that not only were homies checking them, but you got blacks and you got a plethora of other people that were willing to step up and make sure that eloteros and you know, the corn lady and the palateros want to sell the popsicles, whatever, were protected. You know what I mean? It's not tolerated out here, and it won't be tolerated. And anybody who gets caught doing it, they know exactly what's coming. It's only a matter of time. You got people on social media right now that be disrespecting gente, and then they get caught lacking and get beat with the inch of their life. It's not tolerated out here, not only because the homies are not accepting it, but a lot of blacks out here ain't accepting it. We've seen real strife, you know what I mean, when it came to racial divide. And we've also seen you know, the legwork being did in order to repair that. It's not in every city, but for the most part, there's a lot of people that really want to see peace, because at the end of the day, you get to an age to where it no longer makes sense to you. Now, like I said, this is not to advocate violence, but if it was me and one of my gente did something to another race and it was on this level, had nothing to do with gangs or anything, he would be paying the piper, you know what I mean? And I'm not talking about the money. He would be resting in somebody's casket, you know what I mean? Just in order to ensure things like this never take place again. But, you know, Fresno is one of those cities that, you know, it is, for the people that live there, you know, it's ruled by certain elements, you know what I mean? And a lot of people be twacked out their mind doing stupid stuff. Every time I go through Fresno, I skirt, and, you know, because it ain't no need to stay around. There's so much backdooring and backstabbing and tweaking going on in the city. It's no real reason to stay there. Now, I say all this to say this: there has to be some sort of accountability when it comes to things that take place like this. A dude lost his life for no reason, for nothing else than being out there just trying to take care of his family. And a lot of people, the thing I understand is a lot of people grew up with him. You know, who don't know a corn man, you know what I mean, that you know, gave you a break. You may not have nothing that day. He seen you out there, you know, you with your little friends and whatever, and he kick you down. Like, you know what, boom. Everybody else got money to buy something. You're the only one that don't got nothing. He give you something, you know what I mean? And this is crossing, how should I say, it's not even, and it's not even the fact that you're not even the same race as him. It's just like, you know, they see they're part of the community just like we are, you know what I mean? But I think until people start really taking into consideration that they, you know what I mean, exactly what these people mean to the community, because let's be honest, man, the ghetto, the streets are boring without them, you know what I mean? Who don't want to go to, there's a lot of times, you know, you have money, you don't have the means to go into the store because your parents are either too busy doing something or at work. So, you know, the only way to really get something is to go to La Paladero, Elotero, whatever. And, you know, you get your little hookup and you're good for the day, you know what I mean? You feel like you got something, you enjoyed this a part of the hood, you know what I mean? But I think until people start really understanding exactly what they mean to the community, things like this are going to continue to take place, and maybe not on this scale, hopefully, and especially now that people are a lot more vigilant. I think that's how you deal with these type of problems, to be more vigilant. See your gente out there doing anything, kind of shield them a little bit, you know what I mean? you know, you see them out there on the corner, things don't look right, so start moving around them in a way to other people see that, hey, you know, you can't mess with these guys, you know what I mean? Because a lot of times people look for these opportunities. The thing that happened in Fresno, I don't know why it happened. Because according to people, dude just walked up and blew him down, which may have absolutely no sense. To me, that's more like a gang initiation. They don't do that out here because we don't get down like that. When you get initiated, you get jumped in, and that's it. They don't have you killing random people in order to prove you're down. But, you know, a lot of these cities got weird ways of doing things because they're still stuck in like the 60s and the 80s in spots where, you know, people got their bones that way, laying somebody down, and people might be like, oh, we didn't get down like that. Yeah, of course out here that wasn't our stilo, but you got other states that to get down and go lay somebody down in order, a random person, in order to prove their not only their loyalty to that hood, that they're really about it, they're willing to, you know, earn their bones, you know what I mean? But like I said, the only way to really combat this is for people to have conversations about it, and have a conversation without being racist. Like, you can't, you know, you can't expect to fix anything if you come out and you're just like, oh, you N-word, or you know, say something towards the paisas or whatever. You know, if you're disrespecting each other, it's never going to be fixed. And just to put something out there, like, just to end it, protect your community, you know what I mean? You see, like I said, you see your eloteros out there. A lot of homies have been doing it, really staying vigilant. A lot of it is in other cities like Arizona, Texas. They be really watching, so people can't really maneuver around, you know, the workers without risking the chance of getting their face blown off by those who are actually paying attention to their people. And that's what you need. It's not security, it's just being vigilant of your people and always paying attention to those who move funny around them. That's one solution. But there needs to be accountability. And for the people that are allowing these cats to do what they do, you put yourself in jeopardy, because, you know, it can start a lot of... Now I say all this to say this, just to end it. For the people that's on social media talking about race war and all this, understand, man, they're not scared. You know, you got some that have never really seen war, and you've had some that seen war. The ones that have seen war don't really want it, but they'll take it if it comes that way, because they're about theirs. And then for the ones that never seen war, you got some of them that don't want it because they've heard exactly how dark it can get, but they are also prepared. Because if you see social media right now, it's to the point like you've made silent threats so much that they're posted in their hoods waiting for you to come through so they can do something to you. Understand, man, people are seeking peace. Like, people are still holding tight to the American Me movies and thinking that things move a certain way. Everybody is prepared. Like, you got everybody's basically strapped, waiting for the next person to trip. And a lot of these dudes are sitting on the streets on both sides, waiting to earn their bones. You know what I mean? And just be smart. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna do something, don't put it on social media, and don't try to, you know, because for one, you make people look stupid because you're not busting anything, and for two, you only put a target on your head. See what you don't understand is, by saying that you'll just kill some random black person, somebody could do that to your mom or your cousin, or, you know, just randomly blow their brains out. You see what I'm saying? So you gotta play smart. You know what I mean? Don't talk about it. Either go do it or sit your dumb ass down, because you ain't doing nothing but giving people a heads up on exactly what you're trying to do. That's not smart. With that being said, man, for the people for the dude that killed the elotero, man, or the palatero, I hope they take your win, dog. I hope your people catch you and put as many holes in you as they can, just to set an example. And if it doesn't happen, you know, there's a special place in hell for you. You know, and for the people that's out there watching out for their gente and really paying attention to these cats that's moving funny, man, salute to you, man. Always protect yours on both sides, blacks, Mexicans, white, whatever. Protect your people at all costs. Don't allow people just to victimize you, you know what I mean? But with that being said, man, condolences to the family, and hopefully, you know, there's justice, you know what I mean? I prefer street justice, but a different time, a different age.